All right, everybody, Kenny Smith, Total Force Holdings. We're going to continue our caliber war with a cartridge that come up in my comments earlier today, and that would be 38 Super. 38 Super it's an interesting cartridge in that it was pretty much designed for police service in the 20s. All right, during the 20s, you notice the coming of age of what was then known as the motorized bandits, vehicle mobile criminals that were heavily armed, right? Just a new breed. Now, you have to look at what law enforcement was running around with at the time. You had commonly double-action revolvers, 32, typically 32 Smith & Wesson, 32 Smith & Wesson Long, or the Colt equivalents of those. 38 Smith & Wesson, right? 38 Smith & Wesson Special during this time was a common cartridge as well. The 357 Magnum was designed around this time. And really, the 357 Magnum is what killed the 38 Super in police service. So during this time, you've got law enforcement guys that are having to shoot at people in vehicle bodies. Now, you look at most of the handgun cartridges at the times, they were very low velocity. And when it comes to penetrating something like a car body, velocity tends to get you a long way. Also, when you look at the revolver cartridges of the time, they were typically all lead, unjacketed, which lead versus steel, and the softer metal typically loses. So the 45 ACPs had some pretty good results with there, especially when they were fired out of the Thompson 1921 or 1928. But even out of 1911, they did pretty well. But there was a demand for more. So Colt looked at an old cartridge that really came about before the 45 ACP, and that's the 38 ACP. And that cartridge right there is why you see 38 Supers marked 38 Super Plus P, because you really don't want to accidentally get a 38 Super into an old 38 ACP. That's a pretty bad day. The 38 ACP typically pushed 130 grain bullet at about 1,000 feet per second, 1,050 or so, and it really wasn't enough. So what Colt ended up doing is they worked the cartridge to push a bullet of the same weight at 1,250, 1,300. I think they were originally 1,280. The big problem with the 38 Super cartridge nowadays is it's a semi-rimmed cartridge. So you run into the same issues as you can with a 32, thus being you can get into rim lock and stuff like that. But it is a very hot cartridge. Some competition shooters will load 38 Super hot to make major. I'm looking right now at it is still in production with defensive ammunition made for it. I'm looking at an Underwood 38 Super Plus P 124 grain bullet at, gotta get my specs, there we go. 1,350 feet per second from the muzzle. So it's getting awful close to a 357 SIG. Some 357 SIG loads will top it, but it's in the same neighborhood as a 357 SIG. Very powerful cartridge, just not very popular, and the rim lock thing.